Okay. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having us. My name is Alisa, and I'm here today with my teammate Manon, Ellen, and Anna to talk about the trust issue, how they were affected by a crisis that happened to Facebook in 2018. So nowadays, trust is a crucial part of any type of relationship, especially between the users and social media platform. When trust is lost, it's difficult to regain it. Moreover, technological advancement also affect the trust issue rate even more. We will talk about the Facebook data leakage problem and go through the situation in detail, discuss the issues and what brought as a consequences, and also the factors affecting them, the people affecting them, and suggest some solutions to restore the broken trust. Okay, now the political consulting firm Cambridge Analytica obtained data from tens of millions of Facebook users without their knowledge or consent. And this data was collected through a third-party app called This Is Your Digital Life, created by the University of Cambridge professor named Alexander Kogan. The app was designed to collect data from the users who took personality quiz, but it also obtained data from their Facebook friends without their explicit permission, of course. This data was later used by the Cambridge Analytica to create highly targeted political ads during the 2016 US presidential election. Then this scandal is not only affected the trust between the Facebook and the user, but also raised serious concern about the use of personal data by third-party companies. Now we will talk about the before the internet effect. In the past, personal data was typically stored in the physical files and was only accessible with permission. But this gave individuals greater control over their information, and the organization had to follow strict guidelines to access them. People were careful about signing a contract or subscribing to a transaction, which allowed individuals to negotiate and discuss terms before signing them. And data breaches were less common back then and usually involved physical theft or break-ins, which were difficult to execute on a large scale. Now about the post-internet effect. As technology advanced, personal data became easier to access and transfer, which led to people sharing more information online. However, online platforms and services started collecting and storing vast amounts of personal data, which raised concern about the privacy and security. And moreover, data breaches also become more frequent and could affect much large number of people, with hackers stealing millions of personal records at once. Now Mana will continue.
Can you hear my voice?
Yes, start.
So according to Statista, data breaches have been rising with technological development. The statistics vary drastically from 2005 to 2022, as you can see from this graph, resulting from technological advances. So we will now discuss trust issues connected to the Facebook data leakage scandal. So third-party apps like This Is Your Digital Life were able to gather unauthorized user data on Facebook due to the platform's inadequate data security measures. And this data breach raised serious questions about the security and privacy of user data on not just Facebook, but also on other social media platforms. The lack of transparency from Facebook and other social media platforms regarding how user data is collected, used, and shared has significantly affected user trust. And lastly, data misuse was employed to target political advertising during 2016 US presidential elections. The scandal generated a larger discussion on the influence of social media on public perception and politics. So the consequences of these trust issues were significant. The scandal damaged user trust in Facebook. Cambridge Analytica's methods and political strategy to the public's attention brought the challenges of psychological targeting. It influenced the opinions of 87 million people through psychological profiling. something that was not possible before the internet. So we conducted survey, which was called Personal Information Privacy and Trust. And the survey indicated that although technology has advanced, the majority doesn't have trust towards social media. So we're happy to see that people still value their data privacy, but it is disappointing to us that data misuse cases affect the trust, the overall trust in the society. And the survey also revealed that a significant number of respondents adjusted their privacy settings or even deleted their social media accounts due to the data privacy concerns. Now this graph shows that in 2020, 2 years after the incidents became public, 70% of US social media users didn't trust Facebook to protect their privacy and their data. The percentage is higher compared to other social media platforms, and it shows that the overall trust in society decreased, and this trend continues to this day. Now I'm talking about the real consequences. The data leak affected users in many ways. Firstly, it influenced their political opinion and their behavior. Losing trust in social media platforms can make users worry about their personal information being misused or tracked. Some users start to use social media less frequently, as you saw in the survey results, or even deactivate their accounts entirely. And broader impacts could be a decline in political engagement or increased polarization in society. But there's an overlooked problem about the scandal that has not been discussed enough in the media. As Facebook is free for all its users, its revenue is generated entirely from selling advertisement space to companies such as Cambridge Analytica that could potentially target Facebook users to manipulate their opinion and behavior. So it doesn't cost Facebook users money, but it costs them their trust. It happens slowly, reducing the trust in society and causing the so-called trust pollution. So in terms of trust, they destroy the fabric of our society and our democracy.
Trying to talk about the critical players, it is important to mention, it's important to start the speech with the hero of the whole scandal, which is the Mark Zuckerberg as Facebook's founder. He played a leading role in the scandal by creating policies that were intended to make users feel secure in sharing their data, but of course he failed. And then Alexander Kogan is another critical player in this whole scandal because he created the application Personalized Quiz that collected Facebook's users' data and sold it to Cambridge Analytica. So then it brings to our next hero, Cambridge Analytica, as a critical player because it was a British political consulting firm and it used the data collected by Kogan's app to target ads to Facebook users and influence the 2016 US presidential elections without the user's consent. And then, of course, Facebook users who downloaded the application were also critical player because they clicked an agree button on the pop-up window to give access not only to their data, but also to the data of their friends without knowing it. So now moving to the affecting factors, it is worth mentioning that the poor country legislation was a huge factor affecting to this whole scandal because the scandal showed that the US needs better laws to protect people's data. And to fix this, US started using California Consumer Privacy Act in California, which is a state law that intends to enhance privacy rights and consumer protection for residents of California. And without such laws, companies like Facebook can misuse user data. Then we moved to the data privacy regulations in Facebook, and there needed to be more transparent and strong regulations that would prevent Facebook from collecting and sharing user data without proper controls. Later, this got addressed by Mark Zuckerberg after this whole scandal. Of course, technological advancements play a huge role in this scandal as well, because this led Facebook collect and study lots of data. And these advancements, such as big data analytics and machine learning, help them use the data for targeted ads. And then corporate priority is also like a huge factor that affected this whole thing, because Facebook wanted fast growth, but did not protect user privacy. So they made new features without thinking about any risks, and this caused the leaks, data leaks, and made people worry about their privacy. So this public got concerned about it, and after this concern has pushed for changes in data privacy policies across the tech industry. And of course, the user education was also a huge factor affecting this whole thing, because many Facebook users were not aware of the whole extent to which their data was being collected and shared, including third-party apps such as This Is Your Digital Life.
To address trust issues after data leaks and breaches, it's essential to make action to rebuild trust, prioritize user privacy, and protect data. To that end, we have outlined 3 main recommendations that we believe will serve as a powerful foundation for restoring trust in digital platforms. One way Facebook could regain user trust is by increasing transparency and directness. Users' trust was damaged because they were not aware of the extent to which their data was being shared. And to address this issue, Facebook could create a virtual assistant that users can interact with to get real-time updates on how their data is being used. The virtual assistant could be accessible through Facebook website or mobile app, and user could ask it questions such as, who is currently accessing my data? What data do you have on me right now? How long do you store my data? And many questions like this. And the virtual assistant could provide clear answer to these questions and help users understand how their data is being used and who is accessing it. Additionally, the virtual assistant could be programmed to alert users in real time when their data is being accessed by a third party, giving users more control over their data and helping them stay informed about who is using it. Promoting digital literacy among users is our next recommendation, which we believe can help them understand how their data is being used and give them the skills and knowledge to take control of their privacy settings. To achieve this, we suggest creating a virtual reality game that simulates a world where users have complete control over their digital privacy. The game would feature various scenarios that teach players about data privacy and security in a fun and interactive way. For example, players could learn how to secure their social media platforms, avoid scams, and other things like this. The game could be made available for free download on popular app stores and promoted through targeted ad campaigns. It could also be integrated with social media platforms where users can share their progress and compete with their friends, which would create a sense of community around digital literacy. And our last recommendation is making Facebook a paid platform. So we believe that by charging its users, Facebook would demonstrate a commitment to transparency, accountability, and prioritize user privacy and security. This could reduce reliance on targeted advertising, signal a shift towards a more sustainable business model, and ultimately rebuild public trust. To make this idea more engaging, users could be allowed to set their own prices for using Facebook. This would involve creating a system that allows users to choose how much they are willing to pay for the platform and what features they want to access. Facebook could also offer a reward system for users who choose to pay a higher price, such as exclusive content or access to new features. This approach could create a sense of ownership and empowerment among users and lead to increased trust in the platform.
So to conclude all the presentation, the Facebook data leakage scandal demonstrated the importance of privacy and the severe consequences of violating it. And the incident brought concerns about data gathering, usage, storage, and sharing across all social media, not only Facebook. As mentioned before, critical players such as Mark Zuckerberg, Alexander Kogan, Cambridge Analytica, and the Facebook users, as well as factors such as poor legislation, data privacy regulation, and so on, were identified as contributing to the incident. So to prevent similar incidents from happening in the future, stronger data privacy regulations are needed, and increased transparency and improved corporate priorities. So prioritizing user privacy and data protection is essential for building and maintaining trust. And by making a united effort from all the stakeholders, we can rebuild trust in the digital world and create a safer and more secure environment. Thank you for your attention. And this was like all our presentation, and we have the references here. So that was it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We have any questions? I would like actually I have a question. You proposed 3 ways of addressing the issue, and the one has to do with the taking control of the ownership of the Facebook, for example, where you're starting to say that people should pay, could pay. That would be an option. Why would that work? I mean, why would that improve things?
Should I answer the question?
I don't know. Yes, whoever.
So it would improve things because people could demand from Facebook that their data should be more protected because they are paying for the app. And also Facebook could make money not from selling advertisement space, as we mentioned, to third-party apps, but from gathering this money from its users and actually protecting their data. So we think that this money will replace the money that comes from advertisement space, selling advertisement.
Okay.
May I ask a question?
Yes, please.
Hello. Thank you very much for the presentation, and I love what you talked about. I agree that the Facebook thing is very critical. I would like to ask a question about just a second, let me pull it up. The questionnaire, the survey results of 55 respondents who confirmed the trust issues. So my question is on the responses. I noticed the following: 37 of the people are concerned about their data privacy. This is not an action, this is an idea, a thought they have. 28 say that trust was affected by data misuse, also not an action. 34 don't trust social media, also not an action. The only action that is showcased in this survey is the adjusting of their privacy settings. What I find curious is that many more people are concerned about their privacy, their data, and their trust, but very few compared to that actually made an action to adjust their privacy settings, which is not a very difficult action to do. So in your opinion, how come 37 people are concerned, but only 22 made an action to change their privacy settings? That means that 15 people are concerned about their data privacy, but didn't really do anything about it, as simple as adjusting their privacy settings on the platform. In your opinion, why do we have this discrepancy? Thank you.
In my opinion, I think it's an issue of digital literacy and media literacy, because the respondents were mainly students from Armenia, our peers, and I think they are not yet very aware of how they can adjust their settings to protect their data. I think mainly it's this issue of digital literacy.
Makes sense.
I don't think they know. Yeah, I don't think they know that they can do something to protect their data.
Very important. Thank you very much.
Also, one thing I wanted to add, it's actually really common in Armenia to only think about taking actions after they experience something on themselves. So everyone worries about data privacy, but no one really thinks that something is going to happen to them in Armenia, to be honest. So it's like they are waiting for something to happen to them and only after start to take actions.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your question.
Any other questions? Anyone else wants to pick up an issue? I'm a bit impressed with the suggestion you make about the transparency, but the transparency that, as far as I know, Facebook and other social media platforms give you the option to pull the data they have on you, give you the option to look at what they have, etc. But you're proposing something else. You're proposing an active, immediate response to questions on like that. Can you a little bit expand that and how it's going to work? Because it's not clear to me, and maybe why that would help.
We suggested this mainly because even though people can view what data is being accessed from them, they are not really into this reading stuff because when they are told these things, that's why we suggest virtual assistant, and it would be in an interactive way, because when you ask a question and get immediate response, it's like it's more clear for you. But people usually don't get into that reading stuff and do not really need to learn, do not really want to learn how their data is being used until something happens. So that's again the same issue.
It also, I mean, from my little experience, it also seems that the way they make it to get to your data, it's very difficult and complicated. It's like, you know, they're trying to make me regret even starting looking for that. It's like very complicated. You're making it very easy, right? I just ask and I get an answer.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.